Hey everybody, it's Brad from the Cinema Guys and Jason from the History of Bad Ideas. We are back with another joint video that we do between Cinema Guys, History of Bad Ideas. And this time we are talking Burial Ground Massacre starring Michael Madsen.
Yes. We apologize for the delay.
And
it's been a while.
Yes, and we are going to keep it as spoiler-free as we can. We don't want to give much away to this film. It comes out September 3rd on VOD and in select theaters, so you could look for it then. We had the opportunity to see it early, so that's why we're going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible.
I will say we were going to do a video on Space Jam, and it was a crazy couple weeks, so we apologize because we've been trying to do this every couple weeks, right? So we apologize for that. I will say this movie is better than Space Jam: The New Legacy. I enjoyed this film a lot more than that.
I did enjoy it more than Space Jam 2. My kids would probably be different. Not that my kids would watch this, but my kids loved Space Jam. I did not. But yeah,
Brad,
that's for a whole nother time.
Brad, if you're showing this to your kids, we're going to have some talks here. Maybe you shouldn't be having kids there, Brad.
I just got to a point now. I'm just like, whatever.
That's fine.
But
my parents were letting me watch R-rated films at 6 because I was the youngest of 4 boys. They didn't give a crap. So,
I mean, it was a different time.
That's right.
But
I have the plot summary.
Okay, go ahead and give us the plot summary.
It is from IMDb. A group of college students spend a night at an old eerie manor, only to realize that a terrifying stalker is watching their every move as he begins plans to repossess an ancient Native American artifact located inside. I do have an issue with this. It wasn't really an old eerie manor. It was a pretty up-to-date, nice manor. Nice house.
It was more like a mansion than a manor. It was just a nice. I felt like it was like a rich person's nice summer home kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It does, like you said, stars Michael Madsen, Chelsea Vale, Vinnie Marcella. I know I'm going to mess that one up. Travis Gordon, David Gear, and Chris Whitcomb are just some of them. So there you go. Michael Madsen is a nice get for this film. I will have to say it's an independent film.
I will say that was probably the one thing that I was like, ooh, Michael Madsen in this horror movie. I want to check this out. I want to see what this is all about. And I will say right off the bat that I love the design of the Damon character. Like, I love the mask that he wears and everything else. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think visually it was really cool. Like, if you're trying to make a horror movie character, you want them to look cool but also dangerous, right? And I think they did a great job with it. I think they did a really good job with it.
And it's one of those things. There's so many horror movies out there now, like so many, quote unquote slasher films or films where people wear a mask, where you got to try to, how are we going to make our mask different than someone else's? And I thought they did a good job of that with the mask of this character. And I'm going to point out right off the bat, like, this is an indie horror movie, and anyone who watches indie horror movies, like, the acting isn't always the best, and writing and dialogue isn't always the best. Like, but these are like some of the movies that we love to watch. Is just these lower budget films, because I mean, these people work hard to get this stuff made.
Yep.
Regardless, not everybody gets $50 million to make a movie.
and this one, it was released this year, so I'm guessing it was probably made last year during COVID, right? Is what I'm guessing.
I'm gonna guess either during COVID or before, and it was delayed. One of the two. I don't know facts on that, if what the case was on it.
But it takes the basic horror trope of, hey, we're going to have this group of kids, college students, and put them in a house and have somebody attack them and stalk them.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's your basic, here's some kids in a house. We're going to have someone chase them down, and then they're going to start to die one by one.
Yes. And then you have the groundskeeper. The creepy groundskeeper.
Yeah, you always got to have a creepy groundskeeper. And the one thing, I guess my one complaint that I'll say, I kind of wish there was a little more to the kills than there were. I understand budgetary reasons probably, but I always like that part of a slasher or horror movie is, ooh, what kind of kills are we going to get? Are we going to get some cool practical effects? Like,
yes,
that would be my one complaint with it, is I wish I had a little bit more to it than it did. But I understand why it couldn't, probably.
I agree. Like, let's take a classic like Scream. Okay, every one of those kills is a specific type of kill. It's a unique kill, a unique take on it. This one did not have that, and like you said, I get it why. But I think when you make a horror movie to stand out, I think that will be one of the things that helps. Because I remember like the kills in Scream because they're so unique at the time. At the time, the garage door going up and oh, poor. And then this one though, I wish there was a higher body count, if that makes sense. I wish there was a little bit more people in that house. Again, I get it, budget issues or budget constraints. But I wish there was a little bit more people in the house. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, there's only, I think 6. I think there were 6 or 7. And I was like, dang it. I wanted more. Like I wanted a raging party. Like, come on.
I want you to invite your whole, like all your college friends out to the party out in the cornfields and stuff and let loose. Maybe that's for the sequel. There's a sequel coming out next year. Burial Ground. What is it? Burial Ground Massacre Reborn, or I believe is what it's called. Electric Boogaloo. But that one also stars Michael Madsen, but then they're bringing in Tom Sizemore as a sheriff from the IMDb credits. So I am excited to see what is next, because you put those two actors and you got me hooked. I want to see it.
Or a little trivia: the groundskeeper, the creepy groundskeeper, he was the one of the directors of the film, David Gear, and
okay.
The other director is Daniel. The other director is Daniel Dahlstrom. So I didn't realize that either until I started looking at IMDb. So the one positive is there's several positives. I shouldn't say it that way, but I enjoyed that they took a Native American culture and kind of like worked on that. You've noticed like recently that there's been more and more that's becoming more and more Native American stories in there. Not that this is based on a story, but like this is them trying to get their artifacts back, right? Because basically people have taken their stuff for hundreds of years, and this is them. The horror take is that they're getting it back. So that was a kind of a unique take on it. I think it played into the atmosphere, the setting of where it was at in the middle of the desert, basically. So I enjoyed that part of it, and the big dumb jock. Yes, let's put on Native American headdress. What the fudge are you doing?
Your typical like horror movie trope of you got the dumb jock I forgot what the comment was. It was something about football, and I just started laughing. I'm like, really? And then you have the one girl who just wants to sleep with everybody, and then the awkward kid who's like he's gonna do magic tricks. I thought he was a little out of place because he wasn't your typical trope, but I was like, oh, okay. And then you're trying to bring that concept of, do you believe in magic to this, into this actual like Indian, old thinking with this ring that keeps popping back up without giving anything away.
A couple things. I was all set for killing the magician kid. I'll be honest, because if you invite me to a big party, especially in college, and somebody's doing magic, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do it.
So that wasn't for you, is what you're saying.
No,
you're not big into the magic camp or anything like that.
Well, here's the thing. In college, I lost out on a date to somebody that we were kind of flirting for months. And then I found out that when I went to ask her out a week before she started dating a magician. And so then I was done. I was like, I can't.
Oh,
I lost
so
to a
you have
magician.
like a deeper seated hate for
Yeah.
a magician. And okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And then seriously, I'm all for killing any of those magicians in the movies. I'm fine with that. Look, nothing up my sleeve. Well, there goes your arm. Just got
You
hacksaw.
didn't start to kind of feel for him
No.
towards, as he tried to kind of, you didn't care for him more before something happened.
No.
Now, I will say, anyone who's into like indie horror or, low budget horror, I know they have their own little kind of niche
Subculture.
of fans that I would say check out Ground Massacre. It's like I said, it comes out September 3rd, and there's a sequel that comes out next year, which I hope we get to see that too, because you know what? Why not? I want to see what happens next in this world.
I think the one, so the good, it was a good indie. It's a fun indie horror film. That's what it is, right? It's low budget. I have no issue with that one bit. Two, there was kills in it. Like you said, they could have been a little bit more creative, but I'm fine with that. Three, they kill a magician. Four, I like the Native American background to it. I thought that was a unique take. You don't see that often. And five, there's nudity. It was old school 1980s type nudity.
Oh yeah,
too.
there was, and I thought that as I'm watching, I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, where this is like a throwback type of film, and I know it's. I don't want to say it's the hot thing right now, but it does. Find that in a lot of horror movies a lot, where it's like we want to call back to these movies that we grew up watching from like the 80s, which that type of stuff and the trope characters that we got of some of them kind of made you feel that way.
I think, especially with the last couple of horror movies that you and I have reviewed, I feel like the independent ones look at the history and they kind of incorporate that into them, like the 80s and 90s. Because most of these filmmakers probably grew up in the 80s and 90s with these type of horror films, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's a big part of it, as opposed to a more big budget horror film that doesn't. Not all of them, but a lot of them are not like that. And I like the throwback because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I like the throwback to it. But yeah, overall, like I said, it was enjoyable. If you're looking for an independent horror film, go see it.
I didn't hate that I watched it, and I look forward to seeing the next one since I know that there's one coming. So,
and there's not much else at the theaters right now. So if this is in your area, go see it. There's nothing else out.
It's true. There isn't a whole lot playing right now. If it's not playing in the theater, rent it, check it out. It's going to be on VOD. But I know we'll be back hopefully soon. We're going to try to get more consistent with doing some more of these again. And we have, Expo coming up soon. So that's going to be exciting.
September 17th through the 19th. Got lots of prizes to give away. Lots of prizes.
But I want to thank everybody. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we want to thank them for the screener. And like I said, if you have low budget horror films, send them over to us. Find us on Twitter. You're at Cinema Guys.
Yep. And you're at the Bad Ideas Podcast.
Yep, over there.
We love watching. I mean, you can look at some of the videos we've done, like Sky Sharks.
Yes. Love Sky Sharks.
We have fun with these movies, so send them our way, and we would love to check them out.
Yep.
But we're going to be back soon with more of these, and these videos go on our YouTube and History of Bad Ideas YouTube. And follow us at Cinema Guys and Bad Ideas Podcast on Twitter. I am most active on Twitter than I am the others. We're also on Instagram. I try to pick that up a little bit more. But we'll be back soon with more of these videos.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.